There are only three types of people in this world, and only one of them achieves anything great in life. And I'm going to share exactly what that is, who that is, in today's video. Welcome back to the show, guys. Uriel King here, CEO and founder of Hell for Nerd. This is the #winning series, and I'm going to share a really quick mnemonic with you that you can actually use in your enrollment conversations. And I'll show you exactly how to use that. And specifically, I'm going to show you the three types of people that live in this world. Okay, so the three types of people are the following. We have people who lose, and people who lose are always looking for reasons something will not work. We have dabblers, and dabblers are people who look to see if something will work. And then three, we have winners. Winners know they will make it work. So my question to you is, which type of person do you want to be? The question is want to be, not currently are, because you have the choice in every moment to change your future. No one's born a loser. That's by choice. No one's born a winner. That's also by choice. So the question is, what type of person, how do you want to show up in this world? So how can you use this in actual conversation with prospects? Well, it's really simple. When someone is asking you, well, how do I know this is going to work? Okay, fair enough. Great question. First and foremost, when you say this will work, how are you going to measure success? Like, what does success look like for you? And they're going to say ... Okay, cool. And based on what we've talked about, is there any reason to believe that this wouldn't work for you? Well, whatever they say. And you're going to notice people get into these loops of bullshit and storytelling and excuses and fear, and it's not going anywhere. And then you can use this. Do you mind if I share something with you? They're like, yeah, sure, for sure. Cool. Well, in my experience, I've realized there are three types of people in this world. The first type of person is, or the first types of people are losers, or people who lose. And they, again, as I said earlier, so people who lose in life are always looking for ways or reasons something will not work. The second type of person is a dabbler, and the dabbler is looking to see if something will work. They kind of dip their toe in the water. They don't actually dive in, though. And then the third type of person is a winner, and a winner knows they will make it work. So my question to you, Mr. Prospect, is which one of those do you want to be? Now, are most people going to say, I want to be a loser and I want to be a dabbler? No, everyone's going to say I'm a winner. Everyone thinks they're so much better than they are. I mean, it's just the self-inflated ego that we all have, myself included. Okay, so I'm not immune to that. Person says, no, I want to be a winner for sure. Great. Well, this is your chance. Shall we do this? Well, so they can't use any excuse they're thinking of now because they have chosen to be the type of person who is going to make something work no matter what. And so it's like, well, you just told me that you're a winner, and winners always know that they will find a way to, even if you didn't succeed in the past, you said you want to be, maybe you were a loser in the past. That's the past. That's a different version of you. You have the opportunity today to start clean slate, to write a new chapter in your story. And winners always find a way to win. And I'm not saying it's going to be easier or different than if you chose another path. The difference is that you're choosing to make it work. And that's why when you ask me the question, how do I know this will work? The answer is really, that all depends on you. So where do you think we should go from here? And then if the person or the prospect you're talking to is giving you more bullshit about thinking about it, excuses, you're not talking to a winner. Just understand that. It's really simple. So if I'm having a conversation with someone, this is the part I love the most, right? Because this is what coaching for me is all about. It's about holding people to a higher standard. Most people come in to speak with you, to work with you, are living at such a low standard, which is why they don't have the results that they want. They're overweight, they're unhealthy, they've taken shit care of their body, and they think that's okay. And the earlier part of your conversation is really about helping them see that that's not okay. And then they're like, yo, this is definitely what I need, Okay, it's $3,000. I gotta talk to my spouse, I can't make a decision on my own because they get fearful, right? They get fearful. And as soon as that person gets into fear mode, they revert back to their old self, the small self that kept them overweight, unhealthy, feeling like shit. And it's from that small self, they are going to make a decision based on fear to not move forward to their bigger future, but to come right back into their shit. And they're going to stay there. And that's too bad. That's on them. That's not on you. I mean, it is. I mean, if you can get better having the conversations, right? So I'll give you an example. So last week, reviewing one of our clients' calls, So my client is talking with a prospective client. So they help women over 40 lose weight. And this lady is visibly overweight. Like there's no fucking surprises here. And first 5 minutes, she's crying. I can't keep doing this. My dad passed away last year because he too was overweight. And I've been on this yo-yo roller coaster, the same story as most women for forever, Weight Watchers, calories, blah, 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 blah. And I want to be a better role model for my 12-year-old son, and paints the whole story, right? You think that that's enough. End of the call, price is revealed. It's about $2,800, right? Which is about the cost of a computer. And she's nodding yep, this sounds good. This sounds good every step of the way. And as soon as the price was revealed, you could see her visibly, her body language, she started getting very uncomfortable. She started jumping in and cutting off in the conversation. I'm like, okay, see what's happening here? This is someone who is now getting into fight, flight, or freeze. Reptilian brain, prefrontal cortex is gone, right? There's no more logical thinking at this point. And so what happens? Fight, flight, or freeze. Fight, not happening. Flight, so that's what happened here, is I gotta run this by my husband. I can't make a decision without his input. Oh, okay, cool, that's okay. So anyways, a couple hours later, gets a WhatsApp message from this prospect. Our client gets a WhatsApp message. Hey, thanks for your time today. I've decided I can't move forward with this because we're doing kitchen renovations. What the fuck are you talking about? Now that is loser speak. And that is unfortunately why this lady who is 75 pounds overweight is not going to change her situation. And here's the reality, is maybe she needs to pack on some more weight. And maybe something really bad has to happen to her to fucking do something about it. So here's the conversation I would have toward the end of the call with this type of person. So again, what I'm about to share with you is in the context of you have rapport. They trust you to some degree and there's more safety. I'm not saying this in the first 5 minutes of the conversation. So I'm going to run this by my husband. 100%, that's totally okay. How does your husband feel about you finally losing the weight and feeling great about yourself again? Oh, he'd be totally on board. That'd be like, yeah, totally amazing. So if he's on board, what specifically would you have to run by him? Oh, it's just the investments. Okay, fair enough. Thanks for letting me know. Awesome. Just playing devil's advocate. What if he says no to this? What will you have to do then? What will you do then if he says no? Well, I mean, he wouldn't say no. Well, why wouldn't he say no? Well, because he wants to support me and so forth and so forth and so on and so on. Okay, cool. Well, if he wouldn't say no and he was going to support you, is there any reason that we wouldn't be able to get started now if he wants the same things that you want? Well, no, it's just like I want to make sure that I respect him and I don't and so everything I'm talking about here is this, what I'm saying here, everything that's coming out of my mouth as the prospect is absolute bullshit, okay? 100%, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I want to get out of this situation. All right, so why don't we do this? Let's, what's a better time for the three of us to reconnect later today or tomorrow? Just so I can make sure I can make time for you guys. And then she pulls up the calendar, we figure out later today. Okay, so we're going to reconnect in a couple hours. You're going to talk to your spouse. Is there any reason other than a nuclear war that would prevent you guys from moving forward with this as the next step? No, I just want to run this by. Again, bullshit, okay? And all we're trying to do is try to tie down the commitment here. I don't really know what the issue is at this point. I don't have a truthful, honest answer in this conversation. So in those cases, right, where you don't have the honest truth, it's kind of hard to bring it to surface unless you call the elephant out in the room, okay? So this is kind of how I would take this. So just before we finish off, so you've booked in the follow-up call, right? And it's like, just before I go, what do you think you and your spouse will be going over? Just so I can make sure I'm fully prepared for when we connect in a few hours. And ideally, that's when the real stuff comes up. Now, a lot of times it won't, okay? And again, it is what it is, right? Sometimes you get off the call and you're like, I really don't know where this person is in terms of where they stand. And then they send you an email saying, thanks so much for your time. I just decided to go a different direction. And that's because you didn't clarify their situation well enough or get to the truth. So ideally in a conversation, you want to have a real conversation with a prospect. And if you don't get this stuff coming to the surface, right, this is where we can tie in the whole loser, dabbler, master thing or a winner thing. So I might say, hey, can I be honest with you? They're like, yeah, for sure. I've been at this a long time. And I'm just not getting the sense that this is a hell yes for you. And I leave it at that. And I don't say anything else. And then I let the prospect sit in their, like, what am I going to do with this? And now they have, no. It's not, and what's going to happen is they don't want to hurt your feelings unless they're a very direct person, which they'll tell you straight up. They will not want to hurt your feelings. So again, they'll try to pat you on the back. No, it's not you. It's just, I want to, and hopefully at this point, they start bringing up the truth. No, it's not you. It's just like, I've done stuff in the past and it hasn't worked. And it's like, okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. What does anything in the past have to do with what you're able to do in the future? So this is why I call this coach to close. Like, that's a good question. I don't know. Well, I mean, and again, it's all fear, right? The reason people are not going to move forward with you, or they don't think they can win in life, is because they're referencing reference points in the past of failure. And that's fine, but your future can start today with a completely different outlook on life. And I'm not saying that's easy, right? If everything in your past was like failure, well, number one, there's probably a lot of wins there. You just chose not to focus on them, right? Like a miner's cap, you can only focus on the gold or the dirt, your choice. So part of it is like, okay, cool. I've just failed so many times in the past that I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to fail again. Hey, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that that's hard, and I know. This is why I do what I do, right? To help people like yourself. Would it be fair to say that you've probably also had a lot of wins in your past? And the person's probably going to say like, yeah, give me 3 of them. And what we're doing here is we're getting them to focus on stuff that worked well for them in the past. All right, so this, and this. Okay, cool. So you've lost or failed, not really, but you've learned in the past, and you've also won in the past, right? And you still made it to today, and you're alive, and everything's somewhat okay. Obviously, you want to improve. So is there any reason to believe that you couldn't start winning with my help or with this new approach? Because remember, you are where you are right now because of who you've been up until now. And right now, today, and I know this is not easy, right now you have the opportunity to write a new chapter in your life. You can say, that was me, and it's not serving me anymore. And I'm going to put that version of myself in the past, and I'm going to leave it there. And today I'm going to make a commitment to myself to be the type of person who is willing to walk into uncertainty, who is willing to drive through the fog, because that's the only way I can see more in front of me. Because I am a winner. I want to be a winner. And winners always find a way to make it work. That's who I want to be. You have 75 pounds to lose, right? So let's look fast forward a year into the future. That version of you, what does that version of you tell you today? What would that version of you do right now? And this, everything I'm sharing with you here is all self-identity based selling, right? Or coaching, really. It's getting people to make decisions from the future version of themselves, because the only way to get to the future version of themselves is to start today. But the problem is that a lot of people are making decisions based on a smaller version of themselves in the past. And you can't get to where you want to go making decisions from who you've been to get you to where you are now. Because what got you here is not going to get you there, right? So Mr. Prospect or Mrs. Prospect, you can certainly keep your money, but you also get to keep your problems. Are you okay with that? And if they're like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. Well, is it a lot of money? Compared to what? Well, compared to Weight Watchers. Oh, okay, cool. Well, how do Weight Watchers work out for you? Not great. Why do you think that was? Like, is it a lot of money to, like, in the context of dealing with 75 extra pounds every single day for the past 10 years, seeing your father pass away because he too is overweight, and knowing every single day that you're not the role model you want to be, that your son needs you to be. Is it a lot of money in context to that? So what I'm doing here is I'm helping them recognize that the pain of their current situation has to be significantly more than $2,800. Because if the thing is, they're not seeing this, right? They're not seeing this, and they think that $2,800, we're getting people to focus on price as opposed to outcome. So I know this video is a little bit different. Obviously, I'm just doing role plays with myself. Hopefully this is useful for you. But if you want to get better at helping people transform, it starts by having very real, honest conversations with them. And part of that might be like, you might be on the phone for an hour and a half with someone, and at this point it might be like, man, like, can I just be honest with you? Again, like, I like using that, not all the time. Like, you're not going to say that every 5 seconds, but it's a really good segue to just being real with someone. Can I be honest with you? Or can I offer you some feedback? Are you open to some coaching? You're not going to get where you want to go acting and thinking like you have up until now. Because if that was working for you, then you'd already be where you want to be. But you're not. And that's why we're here. And that's okay. But what's not okay, at least for me, is us having this conversation, you telling me that this is a must for you. But I've been doing this for a very long time that I know that if we don't get some type of commitments right now, the likelihood of you doing this is close to zero. Why? Because we're going to get off the phone, you're going to talk to your spouse, you're going to talk to your old self, little voice who's going to keep you playing small. What if this doesn't work? What if? And all of that dialogue is unfortunately kept you where you are right now. And the easiest way to become who you need to be is to change where you need to be. And part of that means being with me in this program to change your environment, to raise your standards, because you will only get in life what you tolerate. And right now you've tolerated a lot of shit. Are you okay with that? No, I'm not. Good. So shall we do this? So, and again, like if you just keep if someone keeps dancing in circles forever, at some point, like I'm continually pushing people away. So I was reviewing a call the other day, and prospective client coming in to work with us, maybe, and 42 minutes after the price was revealed, this person's sitting there thinking, smiling, and just asking like all these stupid questions. And like, they're not even relevant to the conversation anymore or the decision. These are just stall tactics. And you can see, it's like, understand what people say, but really, really understand what they mean. Someone's on the phone with you for 42 minutes after you reveal a price. They're begging for you to hold their feet to the fire. And so this person's like, so our growth specialist was, okay, so let's connect tomorrow. It's only going to take 5 minutes, right? Because this person said like, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Is a 10 out of 10 for sure. I'm like, she's full of shit. Trust me. So she's like, no, like, well, tomorrow's busy. I'm like, really? You can't find 5 minutes tomorrow? If this were really important, you think you might be able to, right? Now, like, okay, like, so he's our team member's like, okay, well, let's connect tomorrow. She's like, why don't we connect next week? It's like, this is something you know you need to do, but you haven't told us the truth because there's some bullshit going on here that we don't know about, right? Why don't we push this out next week? So my response to that would have been next week. Next week is really busy. I'm actually going to be in Italy for a bit, which is true, and my calendar is rammed. Why don't we push this out a couple months and watch what happens? That's right there is what you tell someone when they want to push this out a week. Why don't we just push this? Next week is really jammed for me. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just push this out a couple months? And one of two things is going to happen. Prospect's going to be like, okay, yeah, that works for me. And you've given them the outs they were hoping for because they were never going to fucking do anything anyways. Or they're going to say, no, like I don't want to wait several months. Okay, let's connect tomorrow. And in which case, now they're telling you a bit more of the truth and will actually do something with this. So the whole point of this video, hopefully I'm going to bring this all full circle here, is that being able to identify or help people self-identify as a winner can be very important. Because if they want to be a winner, they can't use the bullshit because that's not what winners do. And if they want to be a loser or a dabbler, then cool, let's talk about excuses for the rest of your life and just being honest with them about, listen, like, unless I'm missing something, I'm just not understanding what's going on here. Because you said you want to do this, but apparently it's not that important. So like, what are we talking about, right? And I think the key is in coaching, in selling, is just to call it what it is. Like, bring everything to the surface. You don't want to get the text message or the email after saying, thanks so much for your time, but I decided to go a different direction. Bring the truth to the surface and let's have an honest conversation. What are you afraid of? What don't you think is going to work? What don't you believe in yourself that's going to make this possible for you? And if you can have those conversations and priming people for them to self-select as wanting to be a winner, then it's like, cool, I get that stuff. It's okay to be afraid. The difference between winners and losers is winners still feel the fear, but they just do it anyways. They use courage. Courage doesn't feel good. It feels terrifying sometimes because you've never done the thing. But what losers do in life is they get to that point, they hit that pain line where this doesn't feel comfortable, and instead of using courage, they resort to comfort. And because they live a very comfortable life, they live a very shitty life. A life where they're 75 or 100 pounds overweight, where they're dead broke, where they don't have anything that they want, and they wish and they hope and they say, oh, it would be great. That's how losers and dabblers talk. You said you want to be a winner. Winners make it happen. So where do you think we should go from here? And if someone is like, fuck yes, I need to be this type of person, they'll be like, okay, let's just do this. And I promise you, they will never regret that decision. So any amount of time you spend with someone, it's like, man, I'm not giving up on you. No fucking way. Because if I let you go, I let you down. And I'm not okay with that. Are you? Because I know everything we're talking about here is it's a very surface level bullshit conversation. Is it okay if we just get to the truth and talk about what's going on? This is hard to do, okay? This is very hard to do to another human, especially someone who you just met. This is why you have to get very good at this. This is why you have to practice. You have to get feedback. You have to be in the trenches doing this stuff. This is the one thing I spend the most amount of my time with our clients around, because it doesn't matter how many leads you have coming through. It doesn't matter how many phone conversations you have. If you are not able to hold people to a higher standard, then you will always be a shadow of your true self. Like, your business will be a shadow of what's possible for it, because you can't have the real conversation, that you're trying to be nice instead of honest. And I promise you, people will thank you for being honest with them about calling them out on their bullshit, because they would not have booked a call with you if they didn't want to change. And it's just about holding them to a higher standard to say, this is not okay. You really okay with being 100 pounds overweight? In what world is that remotely okay? How does that benefit your health? Do you think that's a good role model to be for your kids? Let me just ask you, are they overweight or are they healthy? Yeah. Do you think they're modeling that from you? Is that okay? You okay with that? Okay, cool. Then I think we're done here, right? Like, just cut the bullshit. Just being very direct to people. It's hard. And part of this journey is standing in your power, is understanding like what you stand for, what you stand against. I don't have any time, as you can probably tell, to bullshit and play niceties with anyone. I call it like it is. And if I ever have a conversation with you, I will fucking tell you the truth. And it's the truth you need to hear, because you know you're playing here. And yet you say you want to be here. And I'm not going to let you play here. I will never come down to your level. As a coach, I will never come down to your level. I'm going to force you, I'm going to raise you to my level, because you're here because you want to grow. So if we ever work together, I'm not coming down to your level. Like, you're coming up, and it's going to be hard. It's the same way that there's a reason I invest in myself. I invest in my own coaching, because I still am not where I want to be, right? I never will be. And that's part of the journey of life. It's part of growth. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking now. Hopefully this makes sense for you. So again, you may want to watch this video a few times. There's a lot of things to unpack here. Going back to the start, winners, losers, dabblers, seeing how you can use that in the context of a selling conversation. Also a coaching conversation with clients who might fall off the radar. I think it might be very useful for you. So if you've enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And today I'm going to share very quickly a story of two individuals who work in the same space, multiple sclerosis. Okay, so they help people with MS, but have dramatically different businesses. One of them is a client of ours, the other is not.